Hello everyone and welcome back to the Football Chuggu Podcast. My name is Thomas Durning and today I'm joined by my co-host Pearse McLaughlin. Hello Pearse.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well. On today's podcast, we'll be reacting to last weekend's English Premier League and Scottish Premier League results. We'll also be discussing a little bit of retirement news in the world of football. And at the end of the podcast, Pearse will be giving a rundown of all the latest Asian football news. So we'll start off, as always, with the English Premier League results. So on Saturday, the 27th of September, the results finished Brentford 3, Man United 1, Chelsea 1, Brighton 3, Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 1, Leeds 2, Bournemouth 2, Man City 5, Burnley 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Sunderland 1, Tottenham 1, Wolves 1. And then on Sunday, the 28th of September, we had two matches which finished Aston Villa 1, Fulham 1, Newcastle 1, Arsenal 2. And then we still have one more match to play this weekend, which will be played on Monday, the 29th of September, and that'll be between Everton and West Ham. So just before I ask you, Pearse, about which match, we had a little bit of managerial news in the Premier League, which we'll just start off talking about that. So on Friday, it was announced that West Ham had parted company with manager Graham Potter. So West Ham have had a poor start to the season. Were defeated last week against Crystal Palace, and on Friday, it was announced that West Ham and Graham Potter had parted company. And not so long after, we got more news from West Ham, and they had announced that they had appointed a new manager, and that manager is Nuno Espírito Santo. So Nuno had just left Nottingham Forest a few weeks ago, and he is now the new West Ham United manager. So just before, Pearse, what's your thoughts on that? Graham Potter being sacked and Nuno being appointed?
I think Graham Potter, since his Brighton days, his career hasn't quite panned out or kicked on the way that everyone thought it would. Because obviously, he started off in Sweden and built his CV up, got Brighton up the divisions, and then he's took them to a certain level, and then they went on. He then went to Chelsea, didn't work out there, he got sacked after a really bad run, and then goes into West Ham. It didn't really get much better, and he went in the back of David Moyes, and every time David Moyes seems to leave West Ham, they seem to try to go away from David Moyes' tactics and style of play, and it just doesn't work out. I don't think they've got the players or the system that they should try to be more defensively solid, and that's not been the case. And they've not scored a lot of goals, and they're in danger of relegation if it continued that way under Graham Potter. And I think the appointment of Nuno is a really good appointment, because obviously see what he's done at Wolves, see what he's done at Nottingham Forest, not so recently, up in Europe this season. And no reason he left Nottingham Forest is because of him and the owner had a falling out. Otherwise, I think he would have continued in a good start to the season under Nottingham Forest. So he's obviously a manager that wants to stay in the Premier League, one of the most competitive leagues in the world. I think he had offers from abroad, potentially Saudi and stuff like that, but I think he genuinely wants to be a manager in the Premier League. And he's a proven Premier League manager, and I think he's a very good one at that as well. So I think his main job this season is just to make sure West Ham maintain the Premier League status and then build on that. But I think obviously January will be key in terms of recruitment, because I think it's all clear to see that West Ham needs some quality additions in the squad. They've got a good nucleus of a squad there, but you can tell they're really low in confidence. I think with Nuno's style of play and tactics, I think we'll get the best out of him. So I think for me, it's a timely appointment, and I think it's one that West Ham have kind of thought long and hard, because, like you say, Potter was sacked and instantly Nuno was appointed, so you can tell it's been in the works for a number of weeks.
Yep, agree with everything you've said there. Obviously, the Graham Potter, it just hasn't worked out really for him at West Ham. Got appointed back in January this year, and since then it's not really gone well. He's only got 6 wins under his belt as West Ham manager. Um, you know, Style of play really as well wasn't great. and obviously they were conceding a lot of goals from set pieces as well, which was highlighted a lot this season. So yeah, as a culmination of not starting the season well and also not having a great second half of last season, it has resulted in him being sacked. And as you were just saying there about ever since he's left Brighton, it's not really gone well for him. You know, there was a time where he was being touted as the next England manager, and at the moment it's kind of not really. Well, at the moment he's not really nowhere near that kind of job at the moment. I feel like his reputation's a little bit in ruins. Not necessarily in ruins, but it's gone backwards a wee bit. But yeah, I think he's still a good manager because I mean the job he done at Brighton was brilliant. But I think he picked the wrong job at Chelsea and and at West Ham. I think West Ham's a really difficult club to manage because the fans are just so uh, against the owners and the board. And you know, it's always every time I watch West Ham when they play at home as well, it just the atmosphere just it just doesn't seem to be very everyone on side. I think it's a very difficult club to manage, and yep, Graham Potter's lost his job on behalf of that, and then Nuno Espírito Santo getting appointed on paper, I think is a good appointment. Obviously, we all know the job he done at Nottingham Forest, especially last season, playing that sort of counter-attacking football. You know, they're really good defensively as well. You know, and yeah, I think Nuno believes he can go into West Ham and make a difference. Obviously, he's got a lot of things to sort out. I did mention set pieces. I mean, I think they've conceded nearly every game this season to a set piece, so obviously that's something that he has to sort out. But yeah, I think he can go in there and think he can make a difference, as I said. And it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Obviously, today they play Everton. You know, I think the players are going to be even extra motivated now. Now that you know they've got a new manager, we all know about the new manager bounce. So it'll be interesting to see how Nuno sets his team up. Not had a lot of time to prepare, obviously, just over the weekend. This news came came to the public. So yeah, so that's the managerial news that we've discussed. And yet, Pearse, moving on into the results. Obviously, it's quite a few standout results there. But which one for you stands out?
I think it's got to be the biggest one. I think it's got to be Crystal Palace to Liverpool 1. They seem to be Liverpool's bogey team at the moment, and they've ended Liverpool's unbeaten start to the season, their perfect start to the season, which for me they've had a great start to the season, but they haven't exactly played brilliantly. And I think Palace, they had chances this whole game, and they've got such a good squad. You think the players like Adam Morton, Dean Henderson had a great game as well. Mateta causes problems. Hit the woodwork a couple of times. Alisson had to make a number of saves. So it wasn't as if it was like a smash and grab, although it was a 97th minute winner, which obviously is, if you ask for like a 6-0 win or like a last minute stoppage time winner, you always go with the last time stoppage winner because of the limbs that ensue with that. But I think obviously Ismaila Sarr got the first goal, who seems to always score his Liverpool, whether it be for Watford in the past and now Crystal Palace. He just needs to pick up pocket space. He's dangerous. He's quick. He doesn't score a lot of goals, but when he does score, it seems to always be in his Liverpool for some reason. We've got something similar to that in Scotland with Mark O'Hara. He also seems to score against Celtic and Rangers. So just some players just obviously prefer playing the big boys, so to speak. And then obviously Liverpool thought to get an equaliser, and then through Chiesa, who seems to be kind of like an Origi type player for Liverpool at the moment in terms of off the bench, impact player scoring late goals. If you can continue that, then I think you could have a future at Liverpool. And then obviously Eddie Nketiah with a brilliant finish, chest finish at the back post. And hopefully I can kick him on because since he's moved to Crystal Palace, he hasn't really kicked on because he did well at in the Championship and that, and then obviously we spell at Arsenal. But he was never going to be the main man at Arsenal. He's left left to go to Crystal Palace to try to be the main man, but we all know that's Mateta. But if you can start banging in the goals off the bench and that, then he can have a good career at Crystal Palace. But I thought that was, for me, the standard result because of where it sees Crystal Palace. They're now third in the table, and it ends Liverpool's dominance so far in the Premier League.
I mean, yeah, that is a big standard result. I'm going to go with Brentford 3, Man United 1. I mean, nowadays it's not really a much surprise for Man United to get beat, but I just didn't expect. I had my head that would be a draw. So, yeah, for Brentford to win that 3-1 against Man United, I was slightly surprised. You know, 3 good goals from Brentford. The Igor Thiago, I think his first goal was very noticeable as well. It was a really good finish. You know, and then he got his second one to make it 2-0. A bit suspect from the keeper there. And then Man United get back in the game with Šeško's first goal for the club, which he might feel good about. And then we had the penalty in the game from Man United. It was a penalty, and it was seen that Brian Mbeumo was fouled. It definitely, I think it was a penalty. And the debate only was whether it was a red card or not. He only got booked for it. He didn't get the red card. Nathan Collins for Brentford. So after all that VAR check and stuff, Bruno Fernandes stepped up and he missed for Man United. So you just kind of thought that, oh no, it's not going to be their day. And then in the last sort of minute of the game, Brentford got a counter attack and they managed to bag the 3 points after a goal to make it 3-1 by Matthias Jensen for Brentford. So yeah, for Brentford, they'll look at that as a very good 3 points. You know, Keith Andrews, I would say he's been under pressure, but they've not had the greatest start to the season. You know, they had a poor result last week. So he'll feel really good of himself that, you know, he's managed to get 3 points at home against Man United. And, you know, that sort of calm a little bit of nerves around Brentford at the moment. Whereas with Man United, it's just not going well for them at all. You know, it's the same thing every time we talk about Man United on this podcast, but once again, it's another defeat. And once again, that's even more pressure piled on top of Ruben Amorim. And I'm at the point now with Ruben Amorim where I just don't know where he's going with Man United. I just know, I don't know if you've watched a lot of Man United, Pearse, but this system that he keeps playing, it just doesn't work. It's just so obvious that when you watch them, it doesn't work at all. I mean, he always changes the back three as well, which I don't get. I mean, he makes substitutions during the matches where it's like he brings on centre back for another centre back. I don't get when you're trying to get back into the game why you're bringing another centre back on. Stuff like that I see, and then like the position Bruno Fernandes plays, it's a sort of deep role centre mid where he's also trying to play centre attacking mid. He's trying to play 2 roles. It just doesn't look right. It just looks kind of all over the place, and they're getting done each time on the counter attack. Set pieces for ones they're not great as well. The goalkeeper situation, they've signed a new goalkeeper, Lamens, and he's not even played yet. He keeps sticking with Bayinda, and when I watch him, he just doesn't. For me, he's not good enough for Man United. And yeah, it's just I don't know where Man United are going with Ruben Amorim, and you know he's got really no excuses this season because they've got no European football, so they're only technically playing 1 game a week now. So they should have plenty in that squad to deal with 1 game a week and to be with the quality they've got in that team to get 3 points. And yeah, it's just not happening. And I mean, there's no sign of Ruben Amorim's job under threat at the moment, but the fans are really not happy with it. And I think if we're getting closer into the Christmas time and these results keep happening, I don't see how Ruben Amorim stays in a job. And yeah, again, that would be another manager where Man United lose. You know, where Man United have to let go of another manager, which is sort of happening every season now. So yeah, worrying times for Man United. So that was my standout result.
I would want to voice my opinion
I
on
only go.
Man United situation. I think he should go right now. I think he should walk. I don't think he's a good enough manager for Premier League. I think Bayender's not a good enough goalkeeper. They should put the boy Lamens in, young. His potential, they signed him for a reason. Bayender's not even Premier League level. Probably Championship mid-table at best. Not a good goalkeeper at all. Too many mistakes. Onana is woeful as well. And the system he's trying to play, shoehorning players in different positions. Like Bruno Fernandes, let's be honest, he's a set attack midfielder. He should not,
Yes.
he should not be playing defensive midfielder, right? And he should not be playing that formation that he's playing, right? Because it's different, right? If you're playing that formation, your deal with Simeone, you're getting results week in, week out. You've seen Real Madrid at the weekend get pumped by Atletico Madrid because Simeone has a system that works and he gets the right characters, the right players to play his system, and it works. But he's not got the players. He's playing players out of position. Playing Bruno Fernandes, trying to play Diallo at right wing back. He's not a defender. Like, and you're trying to play five defenders as a Manchester United manager. For me, it should be a 4-3, attack, attack, attack. Even if you're going to get beat, even on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they never win the league. But they were exciting to watch. Every game was back and forth, and they attacked the opposition. They didn't fear anyone. They did get a couple of hidings here and there, but I don't think it's as bad as it is right now. And he's got the worst win percentage of any Man United manager ever. So for me, he has to go. I think it should be sooner rather than later because I think you should get someone that's solid, sort that defence out, and you've got attacking players and try get the confidence in attacking players. I think I know it's meant to be a popular opinion, but I've seen his name mentioned in the past. I think someone you could either bring back Ollie, but probably not likely, right? But I think probably the main man for me I would go for would be Gareth Southgate. You've seen what he did with that England squad. It revolutionised it. He got the togetherness. You see, England was always seen as this kind of individualism. But he got him like that team spirit. I think he can get a team spirit back to Manchester United, and he gets some good results. And obviously he knows that Harry Maguire very well. He got the best out of Harry Maguire, and I think for me it would push them up a level. I think even Gareth Southgate would play more attacking football than this, and even if you're going to play defensive football, you have to defend well. They don't defend well.
No, we don't. No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, obviously, strong words there, but no, you're right. You're right. It's hard to make a good case for Ruben Amorim at the moment because ever since as you said, he's got the lowest win percentage. He's been here nearly a year now, and that whole year, I haven't seen anything to suggest that he's making Man United better. And he's so persistent when playing this style of football and this formation, and it's just hurting. It's just hurting the club. So yeah, it's very worrying times there for Man United. So yeah, we'll move on now from the English Premier League, and we'll move into the Scottish Premier League results. So on Saturday, the 27th of September, the results finished: St Mirren 1, Dundee 0, Hearts 3, Falkirk 0, Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 2, Celtic 0, Hibs 0, Motherwell 2, Aberdeen 0. And on Sunday, the 28th of September, we had one match which finished Livingston 1, Rangers 2. So, Pearse, which match stands out to you the most?
For me, it's got to be Motherwell 2, Aberdeen 0. Due to the fact that it continues this horrendous run of form that Jimmy Thelin in at Aberdeen. I think, similar to Ruben Amorim, we keep mentioning every week, how long can this go on? How long can it continue? That's now 6 league games without a win. They've got 1 point, and they've yet to score a goal. For me, there were signs a bit better, but I thought Motherwell was by far the better team. They had the better chances in the game, although they get 2 late goals. The first one was an absolute howler from Mitov, and then the second one was a penalty, which for me is a penalty. The boy did go down a bit theatrically, but the boy clatters into him. So for me, I think Motherwell still deserved their win, and that was obviously Motherwell's first win of the season under Jens Bertolascu. But they're one of the few teams in the league that are unbeaten. They just had all draws up to this point, but it's a first win that then elevates up the table. But for me, the talking point is to Aberdeen. They're just so soft-centered in terms of defensively, and you can tell the confidence is just so low. And let's be honest, this team that he has got at Aberdeen should be doing a lot better than what it's doing. Like a lot of these players would start from most of the other sides in the Scottish Premiership. Not everyone, but there's like key players in there, like, for example, Kevin Nisbet,
Carlson.
Jesper Carlson, Stuart Armstrong, for example, right? Nicky Devlin. I mean, there's players in there, there's talent in there. Keskinen. I mean, they should be doing a lot better than they are, especially Mitov as well. He's a solid goalkeeper, one of the best goalkeepers in the league last season. But he's having a torrid time. So if you know your goalkeeper's having mistakes, then it's a sorry sight. And like you say, I think the cup final for me, the Scottish Cup final where they won against Celtic, papered over a lot of cracks because even the form up to then was horrendous. But for me, I think he has to go. I think someone like, I don't know why he never gets mentioned for top jobs, Stephen Robinson. I think he would take that club to the next level. And you even look at manager like Derek McInnes, who's now sitting top of the league with Hearts. What he can do with some money. Because Derek McInnes, when he was at Aberdeen the whole time, he was shoestring with a minuscule budget. And every season he lost his best players, whether it be Ryan Jack, Graham Shinney, Johnny Hayes, Neil McGinn, Adam Rooney, Sam Cosgrove, the list goes on, Kenny McLean. I mean, like he lost his best players every single season, but yet still competed at the highest level in the Scottish Premiership in terms of cup finals, cup semis, and top three finishes. And this man is seem to get in the backing, and they're sticking with him. And I think for me, it's clear to see the players are not with him. I think for me, he should be sacked. And I think I don't want to see anyone get sacked, but I think it should be. And I think Stephen Robinson should be the next Aberdeen manager.
Yeah, I mean, that's strong words. That's strong words there. I do agree with you about Jimmy Thelin. I think it's getting to that point now where it's like, when does the sort of rope get cut in terms of, letting this situation go on? But yeah, it's been an absolute shocking start for them. I actually thought I looked at you said about winning the cup papering over the cracks. I mean, they did have not a great end to the season, but I actually thought that Scottish Cup win would sort of push them on. I thought that this would be that sort of moment where they go into the new season full of confidence on the back of that win, and kick on from there. But they just haven't done it at all, which I'm really surprised about. And they've actually, as you said, they've got some good players in there, especially going forward as well, which has really surprised me how they hadn't even scored yet. So yeah, it's really worrying times for Aberdeen as well, and they need to get that one quickly. Um, so yeah, that that's your standout match. My standout match is Livingston 1, Rangers 2. A humongous match for Russell Martin and his future as Rangers manager. They were off of a European defeat, coming off the back of a European defeat against Ghent at home. The pressure piled back on them again, and yeah, this was just a must-win match for them. Started well, got the goal, had a couple of disallowed goals, I think, in the first half, um, which were ruled out by VAR. And then the second half, they're 1-0 up. I think everybody's thinking that they'll sort of get that next goal and win this comfortably, and then Livingston score with around about half an hour to go, and then you're thinking, oh no, here we go with it. Russell Martin, it's this could be the match where it all ends for him. And then in the last minute of the game, a corner comes in, and Max Arns manages to put the ball in the back of the net, which gives Russell Martin a huge 3 points and Rangers a huge 3 points, and sort of gets them up the table a little bit. It was a bit of a weird sort of celebration because like they scored the goal and you would be thinking, oh, like last minute winner, great. And the Rangers fans were happy. There was some of them on the pitch, but then after the goal goes in, they all started chatting against Russell Martin about the fact that he needs to go. Which I thought I've never really seen that. I've never really seen that before. So that was a bit odd, but yeah, a huge, huge win for Russell Martin and Rangers. And yeah, again, they'll be hoping that that win sort of slowly turns the tide and they can sort of get some sort of rhythm and consistency this season, but it's obviously too early to suggest that yet because they've been so inconsistent. So, that was my standout match. And just before we move on, Pearse, obviously, to stick in Scottish football, we're talking about Aberdeen there. They kick off a Conference League campaign on Thursday, and I don't think you can get any tougher game than this. They're at home. They're at Pittodrie, and they play Ukrainian side Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar Donetsk are actually managed now by Arda Turan, who's a former Barcelona and Atletico Madrid player. So, Pearse, with Aberdeen's form, do you think it's a good game for them or a bad game?
No, I think this could be Jimmy Tweed's funeral. I think they could be. I think they could be on the end of a hiding. Because Shakhtar Donetsk are usually a Champions League side. And obviously with the Ukraine war in Russia and that, it's maybe they lost a lot of the big players. So they're starting to rebuild again. But no, if you look at the form of both sides, like Shakhtar Donetsk are getting in some good form, whereas Aberdeen are on probably a horrendous run of form where they can't even score goals and they can't defend. So for me, I think this could be a really bad game for Aberdeen. I think it could be a really big defeat for them.
Yeah, it's a really tough game. I can only see one winner in that. Shakhtar Donetsk, we know they're a proven Champions League side. Uh, Lots of good players. Got a good young manager. They're probably one of the favourites to win that competition as well. So they actually did lose one of their good players, but this summer Sudakov, he's quite a good player. He went to Benfica. He's quite a good player for them. But with the form Aberdeen are in, coming up against a team like Shakhtar Donetsk at home, you know, I don't see them getting a result. But if they did get a result, obviously it would be a massive win for them. It could kickstart their season, but I just don't see that happening. And yeah, I think this could be a really tough night for them. But you never know. We'll see what happens. So, yep. So that's Scottish football covered. We'll now move into, as I said at the start of the podcast, a bit of retirement news from the world of football. And we found out that the former Spain and Barcelona captain Sergio Busquets will retire from playing football at the end of the season. So Sergio Busquets at the moment plays for Inter Miami in the MLS, and he has announced that he will retire in December. So, so Sergio Busquets, I mean, it's what career he's had. He's 38 now. He's on 32 titles in 18 years at Barcelona. He won 9 Liga titles. He won 3 Champions Leagues. He made 143 appearances for Spain, and was part of the team that won the 2010 World Cup and the 2012 Euros. And that's him now going to retire in December. So, Pearse, what's your thoughts on Sergio Busquets retiring?
Just another sign we're getting older, Tom. It's just
Yeah,
such
yeah,
a sad day, man. Because like he was one of the guys that was breaking through when I was a young teenager. Watched that Barcelona side. That trident of Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets, with Busquets being at the base of it, just dictating, controlling, and he was never a guy that was strong or quick. But his intelligence was
Mhm.
par with anyone. He would just sweep up, and he ticked it along nicely. He didn't really need to necessarily do massive, like 70-yard passes, because he just flick the ball into Iniesta and Xavi, and they do the rest. But he was so technically gifted, and like you say, he's won everything there has to offer from the game with Spain and Barcelona. He's part of that, probably one of the best Barcelona sides of all time. Certainly the best Barcelona side I've ever seen. And for me, he's arguably one of the best central defensive midfielders I've ever seen. Revolutionised that position. And yeah, no, I think obviously like he's went to obviously into Miami with Messi, just to kind of wind down his career and enjoy the lifestyle and enjoy playing with his friends. And so he should, because like you say, he's won Champions League, he's won World Cups, he's won Euros, um, he's won La Liga titles, countless. So, and for me, although I'm a Real Madrid fan, but you can appreciate quality. And for me, technically, he's one of the best players in his position that I've ever seen. And it's sad day that he's retiring because it just proves that we're all getting older.
I know, I know. I agree with everything you've said there. Sort of ends that sort of midfield triangle of Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta. Where obviously Xavi and Iniesta have retired now, and that's now Sergio Busquets. Now going is yeah, it's a sad day. In a sad kind of sort of time. It's as you said, people of our age remember that Barcelona prime team. That one probably the best team they've ever had, and that midfield that they had was unbelievable. You know, the balance was just so good. Um, Busquets obviously had Xavi and Iniesta were probably the star players and the star people in that position. Whereas Sergio Busquets, he never really got the credit. He was always the sort of quiet one, the one that sort of didn't get the recognition because he never scored a lot of goals, didn't get that many assists. But if you're a sort of avid fan of football and you sort of had a good knowledge of football, if you watched Sergio Busquets in a football match, you would realise the unbelievable player he was. As you said, wasn't blessed with pace, but what he did have was a lot of football knowledge. You know, always knew where to be at the right time. You know, was always that one step ahead of the game. So when he would get the ball, he just knew exactly how to deal with it and release it and get away from the player he needs to get to or play the pass. And yeah, he's just an unbelievable player. Big tall guy as well. You know, and yeah, and yeah, what a career he had. An unbelievable career. Um, yeah, so yeah, that's now Sergio Busquets retiring, and I feel in the very near future, I've got a feeling it'll be Messi next, or either Suarez or Messi next. I don't know who I will be, but that team of that Barcelona team will is they're all kind of going now. So yeah, Sergio Busquets retiring. Some sad news there, but what a career he had. And yeah, so for the final part of the show, Pearse will now give his Asian football roundup.
Yeah, so K League One action. Saturday 27th of September, Gangwon FC 0, Daejeon Hana Citizen 0, Daegu FC 1, Ulsan HDFC 1, Kim Chung Sang with 2, Pong Seals 0, SSO 1, Jumpers Union Motors FC 1. Sunday the 20th of September, FC Anyang 0, Gwangju FC 0, Jeju SK 3, Suwon FC 4. And it's leading the table looking like this. At the top of the table, we have Jumpers Union Motors on 67 points after 31 games. Gimchung is second on 52 points. And then the third place is Daejeon Hana Citizen on 49. And just beside the top three, we've got Pong Steelers on 48 points. At the bottom half table, Daegu FC, rock bottom, 12th position, 31 points. 31 games, 23 points. Jeju in 11th with 31 points. And then in the final relegation playoff places, last season's champions, Ulsan HDFC on 37 points. Ninth position, which shown us also on 37 points, also in the same goal difference as Ulsan on their -3. And in eighth position, just outside it as well, as a point above them, is FC Anyang. So it's extremely tight the bottom half of the table. I think the top half it's only a matter of time that Jumbo will win it. But it's really invigorating that relegation battle in the K League One. So in terms of J League One action, so we had Saturday 27th of September, Manchester Zelvia 1, Faji Okayama FC 0, Gambo Osaka 4, Albert Nagata 2, Nagoro Grampus 0, Cash Antlers 4, Azuis Fukuoka 1, San Frecce Hiroshima 2, Tokyo Verde 0, Red Diamonds 0, Vissel Kobe 2, Shimizu Pulse 1. Sunday 20th September, we had Yokohama FC 1, Shonoba Mari 0, FC Tokyo 2, Yokohama F Mariners 3, Steres Osaka 1, Kyoto Sanga FC 2, Kawasaki Frontale 4, Cashew Assault 4. So in terms of the table, we've got Cash Antlers top on 64 points. Second, we've got Vissel Kobe on 60 points. Kyoto Sanga FC's third place in 59 points. Fourth place, we've also got Cashew, so also on, they've got 57 points just outside at 2 points below. And then fifth and sixth position, Machida Zelvia and San Frecce Hiroshima, both on 55 points with a plus 15 goal difference each. So really tight at the top half of day one. It could still go a long way. So it's still interesting to see what's going to happen there in terms of the title. Alberts de Gata rock bottom on 20th on 21 points. Shona Mari 19th on 25 points. In the final relegation playoff place, it's 31 points. Newcombe FC, and then just beside it is also Newcombe F Mariners on 31 points, but with a better goal difference of just the 4 goals. So in terms of other Asian football news, we mentioned that in the K-League 1, defending champions UCSD have dropped to the 10th place after matchday 31 results. If the season were to end with the current standings, Ulsan be involved in the relegation playoff. They just have 7 games left to save their season, or it could be the K-League 2 for the K-League 1 champions next season. And we touched on it as well. Jeju SK had 4 players sent off in their side's 4-3 defeat to Suwon FC on Sunday, the 20th of September. It's the first time in K-League history that a team had 4 dismissals in a single game. And that is all your latest Asian football news.
Thank you, Pearse, and thank you everyone for listening to this episode of the Football Chuggu Podcast. This podcast will be available to listen to on the Football Chuggu YouTube channel and also the Football Chuggu website. Thanks for listening and see you soon.
Bye-bye.